Continuing to follow the latest involving former President Trump and his civil fraud ruling. Trump has just appealed the $454 million ruling in the civil fraud case here in New York.
So Trump's legal team is asking for a mid-level appeals court to overturn Judge Engoron's verdict in the lawsuit that was brought on by Attorney General Letitia James. Trump's attorneys are saying that they're asking the appeals court to determine whether Engoron, quote, committed errors of law and fact, and also whether or not that fine was too egregious.
Yeah, that's right. Here with us to weigh in, former U.S. Attorney and Newsmax contributor Joe diGenova, along with former senior Justice Department official and Newsmax contributor Victoria Toensing. Victoria, I want to start with you here. Question. What about the 8th Amendment? I'm thinking here. That's cruel and unusual punishment. Lots of legal experts saying that they believe that Trump's attorney will go after and cite the 8th Amendment. Is that possible or plausible in this scenario?
Oh, sure. And this case may go to the Supreme Court. So you want to keep all your federal issues alive by pleading them right now, even though it's a state court and they won't look at constitutional issues. I mean, in this case, and I'm just, it was an unethical prosecutor that sued under an unconstitutional court. And after seeing that video you just showed, is there any doubt there was a nut for a judge? I mean, all the judges, all the state judges in New York are Democrats, but they have got to stop this. And I'm sure they have business friends who are telling them, stop this madness.
Yeah, Joe, let's switch gears now to Georgia. Former President Trump's lawyers, they presented an affidavit describing the phone records of just around 12,000 calls and text messages, and that's between Fulton County D.A. Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. Location data in the records show that Mr. Wade's phone being connected to a cell tower near Fani's condominium at least 35 different times. So this isn't helping her case, and they sort of boxed her in a little bit, if you will, on the stand, because they were referencing these phone calls, likely that they knew they had them,
of course,
and waiting to see what she had to say. And did she put herself in a really tough spot?
She did indeed, and she should have known. What's fascinating to me is that neither she nor Mr. Wade appears to have been aware that this could happen to them as private citizens. In other words, I'm sure they're both aware that the government can get these records, but I don't think they were aware that private citizens in litigation can get these records with the assistance of a subpoena from a court. And that's exactly what happened. And they clearly had these records in their possession when they were examining and cross-examining both Fani Willis and Nathaniel Wade. I think this has put the judge in the case, Judge McAfee, in a very, very difficult position. He's bent over backwards to be quiet, fair, unassuming, and almost uninvolved in his own judicial proceeding. I think those days are over, and I think Fani and Nate are in very, very deep trouble, certainly with regard to their qualifications and being able to stay in the case, if not perjury.
Yeah, Victoria, let's finish on that note. We have less than 30 seconds left. Wanted to get your thoughts on what you think that Judge McAfee is going to do. And also, then what happens if they're kicked off of this case? Do they lose their licenses? Are they
susceptible to being prosecuted?
Exactly. Are they going to be prosecued for perjury? What happens next?
But she's already violated county law that says that you can't supervise and gives a list, and a lover is one of them. And also you have to get written permission before even hiring somebody who is a lover. So she's got some real problems. But let's not forget, I like to talk about sex as much as the next person, but let's not forget that there were White House meetings, and it's very important to know what happened at those White House meetings. And Just the News just brought a lawsuit in Fulton County Court to get those documents, because when they did a FOIA to Fani's office, the office denied having any documents. And yet there's been evidence that there are at least 2 letters between the Georgia prosecutor's office and the White House. So this is a really important issue.